My name is Rafael, you're watching Rock and Roll Garage, and today we're going to talk about 7 hard rock and heavy metal albums which were recorded in the Bahamas. That's right. But first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment. And if you want to read more, you can go to the description and read the article we wrote about this. Well, that's right. Maybe when you're listening to an album by AC/DC or Iron Maiden or Judas Priest, you might think, oh, they probably recorded that in England or in Australia or in the United States. But no, those 3 bands already recorded some of their best-selling albums in the Bahamas. And if you don't know the Bahamas is an island, it's a country, and is located near Cuba and near Florida, the Florida Keys, and all those other famous islands in the area. So it's located near North America or Central America as well. So it's located in that spot, and as you might know, it's a beautiful place. I sadly never been there, but if you look at the photos, man, it looks like paradise. You know, all those beautiful beaches, and it's just a beautiful place. And even before that, even before bands started to go and record albums there, it was always a place people from all over the world and many famous people used to go there to just relax and spend some time and spend their vacation. And eventually the famous Compass Point Studios was created there by a person called Chris Blackwell. The studio was founded in 1977 there, and he was the owner of Island Records, which was a Jamaican record company that for many years was based in the United Kingdom. And it became really a destiny for these bands, and we're gonna start with the first album that was recorded there. Well, it's simply one of the best-selling albums of all time, which is Back in Black. That's right, AC/DC recorded their best-selling album, Back in Black there. It sold an estimated amount of more than 50 million copies worldwide. It's one of the best-selling bands, one of the best-selling albums of all time. And, you know, you got Shoot the Thrill, Hell's Bells, You Shook Me All Night Long, Rock and Roll Ain't Always Pollution. All the tracks on that album are classics. It was the first album after Bon Scott's death. It was the first album with Brian Johnson. And, you know, it's really mind-blowing when you think about, you know, they recorded such an incredible such an incredible album really far away from where they started, you know, and it's really cool to know that, right? And we go to the second one from the list, which is Flick of the Switch, another AC/DC album, which is not one of their best, but it's quite underrated. It's not that bad. I don't think it's a bad album, but obviously when you put them side to side with other AC/DC's albums, it's not the greatest one in the world, obviously, but it's an underrated album. And excuse me, it's one of the good AC/DC albums from the 80s. It's not their worst, but it's certainly not one of the best, but it's raw, it's good, and it's got some good tracks. For example, Nervous Shakedown, it's a great song. Guns for Hire, I think it's a very underrated AC/DC track as well. And let's go to the next one. The next one is another very underrated album. It's from Judas Priest, and it's Turbo. Obviously, you may say, oh, come on. You know, oh, it's not one of the greatest AC/DC's albums. I love that AC/DC from the new wave of the British heavy metal, you know, all those 70s albums. But hey, the 80s Judas Priest, I'm sorry, I said AC/DC. The 80s Judas Priest is also very good. You should give it a chance, you know, even though the synthesizers and the keyboards, but it's great. It's a good band in the 80s as well. And Turbo was recorded in the Bahamas, and you got obviously Turbo Lover, Parental Guidance, that it's a nice track, and Out in the Cold, it's another really, really good song from that record. And it was also recorded in the Bahamas at the Compass Point Studios. And the other one is another big heavy metal classic album, which is Peace of Mind. Iron Maiden's Peace of Mind was also recorded there. Iron Maiden loved the Compass Point Studios, loved to go to the Bahamas to record. And that's a classic album from Iron Maiden. It was the second one with Bruce Dickinson on vocals, if I'm not mistaken. And it got tracks like Where It Goes There, Flight of Icarus, and The Trooper, one of Iron Maiden's signature songs for sure. And it was the first album to have Nico McBrain on drums. He replaced Clive Burr on that album. And the next one, we go to another Iron Maiden classic. Iron Maiden loved to go there. And the other classic album they recorded there was Power Slave, also released in the 80s. And Power Slave is another fantastic album. It's got, obviously, the title track. It's got Aces High, 2 Minutes to Midnight, A Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. Many great songs. Great album. Was also recorded there at the Compass Point Studios. And we go to the next one, which is also an Iron Maiden album, which is Somewhere in Time. Somewhere in Time was also released in the 80s, in 1986 to be more precise. And it was recorded in Nassau, the capital of Bahamas, at the Compass Point Studios. And it's got Caught Somewhere in Time, Wasted Years, Heaven Can Wait, you know, all fantastic songs, all fantastic tracks. And let's go to the next one. And it was one of the final albums to be recorded at the Compass Point Studios. The Compass Point Studios closed in 2010, and it was 24 years after making Somewhere in Time in 1986. Iron Maiden returned to the Bahamas to record The Final Frontier, which is a very underrated Iron Maiden album. That title track is really something. It's really good, The Final Frontier. And I think it's one of their greatest albums after the reunion with Bruce Dickinson and Adrian Smith. And it was one of the final albums recorded at the Compass Point Studios in the Bahamas. And according to the website of the studio was shut down due to quote, a series of incidents, social political based happenings, which made it untenable to continue doing public business in the Bahamas. That's what the official website to this legendary studio was that was closed. That what the website said. That's what they officially said about the studio closing their doors. And you know, just by the fact of, obviously many other albums were recorded there, but we selected a few, some of the most famous ones. And so, I mean, just by the fact that Back in Black was recorded there, it's a magical place, man. You know, it's a fantastic place. And I hope you liked the video. It's just a curious thing. If you didn't know, those albums were recorded there. And please subscribe to the channel, like the video. Don't forget to comment, leave your comment, tell me what you think. If you've ever been to Bahamas or you want to go there, I certainly would love to be there. I want to go there someday. And visit rockandrollgarage.com. Okay, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.